about all those speeches you have. And I realize when you're doing a speech, a lot of times our whole approach is let's just get it over with so we can move on and get our award or whatever we have to do. I want to encourage you to attack every speech uniquely. Don't settle to keep talking about the same thing. In my Toastmasters club, I was a VP of education, and I would get speakers, and a lot of times they would talk about their business in every speech. And one of the first things I did was get them to speak outside of their topic. Master communicators can communicate on any topic at any moment. That's why they're table topic champions. That's all table topics is, the ability to speak on a variety of topics. Okay? But creativity allows you to do that. When you think of the best table topics masters out there, those individuals who can do that very well, they have creativity, do they not? Yeah. And finally, confidence. This was the big part for me. Tiffany, you're counting ahs and ums. My first time I ever did a table topics, 26 ahs and ums. Am I out of time already back there? Okay, I was seeing yellows, greens, and stuff. I thought maybe it was Christmas or something. So well, let me wrap this up very quickly for you. Confidence is key to this whole process, and Toastmasters will give you that confidence to do that. So let me just give you one thought here in closing. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a great book called Outliers, The Story of Success. And he looked at what successful people do to be effective and really, again, successful in their stories. He suggested it takes what's called the 10,000 hour rule. In order for anybody to be an expert, anybody to be a master, they have to do 10,000 hours of work. Are you ready to do that? Are you up to do that? You see, I've been speaking since I was 18 years old. I've been speaking and getting paid for it since I was in college, getting paid for it. And I'm just now reaching 10,000 hours. It takes a lot of time and practice. In closing, let me just share with you, if you'd like to know more about me, go to my website, rickchromey.com. I've got some information back here, including some of the materials I do on motivation. I have presentations out there. I have a whole presentation called Presentations That Rock. I'd love to come do that for you. It takes a little bit more time to do that, or presentations that fly. Another one that's very popular they do is called Leading with Style, Learning Your Leadership Style. And then finally, my most popular workshop is this one called Motivate Me, about how do you motivate people naturally without guilt or gimmicks. Maybe it's something that you would find helpful with your school, business, organization. I'd love to come and be a part of what you're doing. And with that, I've got to close and land this plane. Thanks for allowing me to live my dream tonight.
One or two questions for Rick on how he utilized Toastmasters to help him with his professional speaking career. Does anyone have any questions or anything?
How long have you been in Toastmasters?
I started doing Toastmasters in 2007. So, and I left the club I was in Boise a year ago. So, what's that? 8 years, yeah.
So how did you take it from Toastmasters to professional speaking? Because we're a closed group here. We don't pay to hear people speak here.
Right, but you never know who's going to be in your audience. Like I said, Vincent Katuku was in my audience, and he was just a guest that day, and turned out to be somebody that was someone I needed. You never know. See, this is what Table Topics will do for you. You never know when you have that 2-minute elevator speech. I was in the Bellingham post office today, putting on stamps on my Christmas cards, and there's this gal, and we just started talking, and find out she's an editor. I'm a writer. And I found out what she edited, and she wanted my card. I had 2 minutes to give an elevator speech. Table Topics helped me get there. It's a great way to learn and to grow. And the leadership, if you're resistant to any leadership, you're missing the whole point of Toastmasters. Every person in this room should be a secretary. Every person in this room should be a VP of membership. Every person in this room should eventually be a club president. I'm telling you, it's how you get to where you want to be. If you want to be there. Now, if you just want to slide through, I guess that's...
Any other questions? Yes.
Have you ever worked for any organizations that line up those speeches for you? Or
you know, I'm getting... My next step is to get an agent, but the problem in today's culture is everything has changed. The web culture has just shifted everything. I've had a couple real close moments where I've had some agents approach me, but I like being independent because, first of all, I get to keep all the profit. My books are all on discs back here. You know, back here I've got all my books on a little $25 disc. that's over $100 worth of material as far as if you were to pay for it in paper. But if I had a publisher, that publisher would be taking 90% of my money. I get to keep basically all of it, what it costs me to put on that. So there's a real advantage to being a self-publisher, and that's one other thing you need to understand. If you want to be a professional speaker, you better be a writer first. You write to speak and you speak to write. They work together.
Any other questions? Just one quick question, Rick. What was your approach to every Toastmasters meeting to help you improve your speaking? Is there a specific thing?
Yeah. My approach, whenever I got a chance to speak, was I spoke as if it was my last moment on earth. Every speech was my last speech. I learned that teaching. I learned that in the classroom. I wanted to make every lecture my last lecture. Every speech is my last speech. I could go out here tonight and be tragically die. God forbid something like that would happen, but you want to know something? If this was my last speech, I'll take it.
One more question. Go ahead there.
How young were you when you gave your very first speech?
Probably 2. I said, no! It's a short speech.
When you realized you liked speaking?
Oh, I love speaking. Very early. Yeah, grade school. I just love to talk. I love to speak. What I love more than anything is that I love to see people come alive when I talk. I love to see their hearts open. It's not about your mind. Everybody's got, when you get smart in life, you can create insights. Professors are full of insights. But what really master communicators do differently is they open up hearts. They get beyond that. I love this thing. I know it's so important to be formal. But one of the things I taught all my Toastmasters is that if you want to speak, you've got to get beyond the lectern, the podium. You've got to speak to the heart as well as the head. Insight and application.
All right.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And then Rick, you're going to be here later on.
Yeah, I'll stay here and party with you
So
for a
if anyone
while.
has any questions for him later, please let's give Rick a hand.